So John would use that to his advantage, and he would, you know, tell the story of one scene by just designing one beautiful shot that just covered it all, and just ended up in like just zoom in like really close on an eye, and and then it's me looking, and it cuts out. There's so many of those sort of elements in this film, and that's what I really love about it. It's a hard-boiled action movie that has a really high pace, but in the middle of it, there's some really beautiful cinematic excellence.
Nerd reactor, roll out.
And Joel, this movie, action-packed and silent night, also means your character doesn't talk.
Yep.
And I'm curious, with you reading the script, what is that like with, because I'm imagining no dialogue and just a lot of just setup shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the great actor Stellan Skarsgård, he once taught me that, the movie is in the description in between the lines. And this whole script was just that. But it was a very well-written script, so even though there was no dialogue, you got a very clear sense of what the character was going through in every scene. And there was a pace in the script, a beat, that really, if you read the script now and watch the movie, I think that they're very closely related. It really translated. But acting-wise, it was a big challenge to have to portray everything, but without having words to assist you help telling the story.
Yeah, and with the movie, the action helps tell the story, and it kind of just builds up until the third act, and it just goes crazy.
Yeah.
And I think there's one scene, it's like a one-shot take, and I want to talk more about that. Like, how intense was that for you, trying to train for that? And
Talking about the
the stair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, it was something that me and Jeremy Marinas, the fight coordinator, we worked on that sequence for a long time. He had an idea that he brought to John that was, that was a way to shoot this sort of to make it look like it's one take. And we trained quite a couple weeks for that, just for that sequence. And it was tricky. It was also, we're shooting it in Mexico City. In some janky old garage building, I don't know what, and there was like lead pipes sticking out everywhere. First day we were there, I walked over and I was like, oh, that's a 90-foot drop, and there was no, so there was a lot of work that went into just making it into sort of a safe environment. And, we had stunt guys falling down the stairs with wires, and, it was a tricky sequence to get to, and especially we had this idea that we had around the action where we want to choreograph it, of course, but we wanted to choreograph it more in sort of anchor points, and then we would have like more real fight scrambles, like improvisation in between, where it was a little more dynamic, a little bit more close to a regular fight. But that was of course very technically difficult because also the camera. It was a very difficult sequence to solve logistically, and finally we got it right.
Yeah, and it looks intense too. And there's like the part where you fell down the stairs, and it looked like, is that you right there, like just doing that tumble?
Which one?
I think it's like you're fighting, and then you just rolled down the stairs.
Yeah. No, that was my first stair fall.
Yeah. And so what was that like? Because no bruises or anything, like, right?
Bruises everywhere.
Yeah.
But no. I was my mantra for the whole film was like no serious injuries. that was sort of what I was. Bruises, and that's kind of a given in this sort of film. You always get banged up, but I just didn't want to, break something or, blow a knee or something like that. And we got through it.
And then I have to talk about John Woo directing this. What was that like for you, just getting to just work with the man, the legend?
Yeah, it was a dream come true. And especially in this kind of film where, John has the nickname the master of the camera, and because there's no dialogue in this film, it gives you a different kind of freedom. You don't have to come in and cover a dialogue scene, film the person who's talking, film the person who's listening, all these cuts. So John would use that to his advantage, and he would, tell the story of one scene by just designing one beautiful shot that just covered it all, and just ended up in just zoom in really close on an eye, and and then it's me looking, and then it cuts out. There's so many of those sort of elements in this film, and that's what I really love about it. It's a hard-boiled action movie that has a really high pace, but in the middle of it, there's some really beautiful cinematic excellence.